So in today's video, we're going to be checking out round 3 of the Drift Masters Virtual Championship. We visit the We attend the Sachsenring race circuit based in Germany, and you know what, this track, obviously something that we haven't competed on before, so it was completely open playing field and completely new for everyone. So certainly an interesting one for us to try and pick up and learn, but it was definitely a fun experience. Now for this event, I personally didn't get a lot of practice. I probably had a total of 3 hours, which I suppose is quite a bit of time when you have an infinite amount of laps that you can get. But you know, at the end of the day in the sim world, you kind of want to be doing a little bit more than that to be able to maximize performance and to make sure that you as a driver are as prepared as best, really. So without further ado, I think we should have a look at our qualifying runs and let's see how we got on. So here we go for our qualifying runs. Run on the left is our first run and run on the right is our second. Our first one got a 78 points and the second one got an 84.5 points. Quite a disappointing qualifying session, honestly. As you can see on the left, we ran wide. On the right, we kind of a bit better. We had a bit of a wobble. But here to the midsection, we do pretty decent. Into the inner clipping points here, doing pretty good job. Transition here into clipping point, I think that's 5. And then out towards the wall, again looking pretty good. Wing over the wall, which is always important. Into the inner clipping point here of 7. And then out towards 8 and across the line. As you can see on the left, we had a bit of a weird wobble going across the wall. You know what, guys, not really the greatest qualifying session for me. We ended up getting 6th overall with that run on the right hand side with the 84.5. This track though, no one hit the 90s on this track. You know, we qualified 6th with an 84 in VDC. That would probably get you, you know, down in the 20th places. So yeah, not the strongest of qualifying sessions, I think, for this particular event. It was one of those track layouts that I think was probably I don't know if it was technical enough really to be able to decipher what was a good run and what wasn't so good. But overall, quite disappointed with my runs. Didn't really pull out of the bag when I needed to, and I think the lack of time that I really put into this track kind of showed out in those runs. To be honest, I'm not really sure exactly where I went wrong. You know, in my eyes, they kind of had the aggression of a 90-point run, I suppose, but I don't really think we had the precision for that 90 points, and I think that's probably where we might have left out those points in that run. So something to learn on, something to reflect on, and we'll probably, you know, never make that mistake again, hopefully. And yeah, I think from now we'll just move into the battles. So for our first battle of top 32, we faced up against James Hudson, which is actually a driver I've competed against in real life. We've never battled in real life, but he did compete in Ireland in 2019 before this whole pandemic. But yeah, here we go, battling in Drift Masters, and we're leading in pretty decent lead here going into clipping point 2, and we kind of just keep that kind of gap all the way through the run. James has to kind of shortcut a small bit up on line to be able to kind of maintain some bit of proximity, but we're just doing a really good lead line. As you can see, with a bit of a lag there on that transition, I had a stutter in the game when I was leading, and I was like, oh man, here we go, please don't hurt me again. As we've had that a couple of times this year where we've had a little lag stutter like that, and it ended up not being as good for us in the end. We're just going to have the replay run up here again, have a look from a different perspective. We put a decent gap there on initiation. This car is really quick in a straight line, but as you can see, as we get to the red line, which is the end of the decel zone on this track layout, we had a bit of an understeer there. So again, not really the perfect setup from us, but as you can see, you know, we still have the speed for the remainder of the track somewhat. You know, not kind of giving all the opportunities for James to kind of catch back up to us and run our door, but he's not really utilizing that to his fullest. So yeah, we had a pretty decent lead run, obviously not as perfect as we would have liked, but definitely I think better than potentially our qualifying runs, which is probably the most important part. So here we go. As you can see, we're switching places around here. James is there lighting up. You know, we're going to chase in James here. Again, in my mind, I'm just thinking about, look, you know, we had a really decent lead. Yeah, he kind of attacked on the door quite nicely at the end. But all we have to do is just make sure, you know, we do the same in the initiation or a little bit better, and just make sure we stay with him all the way. And hopefully that our lead run is enough to be able to give us the win. So here we go, flicking in. Nice timing of the flick there. He runs super big angle, probably a little bit too wide there, to be honest. But we suck up nicely onto the door. He cuts the curb badly, angles up too much, transitions late into that outer zone of 3. We maintain a decent proximity here, trying to mimic him here. That's what Drift Masters kind of prefer. But however, this event, it did say that we can kind of do a bit of both. If you want to run door to door, that's fine. If you want to mimic, that's fine. It depends on the track, of course. And as across the line here, he taps the wall again in the lead position, and we just do a pretty decent chase, nothing to really worry about. Again, we'll just have a quick look at the replay, but it's going to be cut short from the results. But yeah, again, look, just making sure that we're doing something safe. You know, not trying to take risks in areas we don't need to take them, and do take the risk in the places that we know we can do confidently. And as you can see, we get the win there, and yeah, move on into the top 16. So yeah, pretty decent start so far to this event for us. So for our top 16 battle, we go against João Junks from Brazil. João is a VDC driver, been a VDC driver for a number of years now, and he's now S15. He used to drive a GTR mostly. But as we flick in again, another understeer from us initiation. I'm not really sure what was going on there. It was very weird. But as we get into the inner zone, we flick through the transition, and we're putting a bit of a gap from João, but he kind of closes back up nicely here to the inner clipping point. We transition here into clipping point, I believe 6 is it. Then we go out to, we go to clipping point 6, again out towards the wall, angle up nicely into clip 7, and then back up the hill. João doing a decent job, but not really bringing the fight so much, you know. And then looking back at this replay here, we can kind of see not really the greatest of chase runs from João. As I move my mouse around on the YouTube screen, he kind of goes super deep on initiation, up deep up towards the front wheel, which is too far in really, and then loses a proximity because of that. And then as we get to the inner clipping points here, and as we go to transition, he actually cuts it there. He actually over angles, as you can see. He's nearly doing backwards and has a massive cut of the line to try and maintain his momentum going. So a massive mistake from João in the chase position. Our lead was pretty faultless, more or less, other than the weird wobble we had on initiation. It was pretty decent to follow, I think. So João not really utilizing that decent lead and making mistakes. So all we had to do now was just really do a really decent chase run, not really take that many risks, and just hope that you know, we don't cause contact. And worst case scenario, we'll just go one more time. You know, it's very hard for João now to win this from the lead position, really, unless we make a mistake in the chase. So heading into this chase run here, as you can see, the lights go out. João goes through the chicane. We chase him in. And as we go down the straight line, our car's super fast and straight, so we don't really have to push that hard in the chase position in the straight line. We have a bit of an understeer, but he goes super deep, super early into the inner clipping point 2 here. We transition behind him, give him a bit of space, and we try and suck up nicely onto his, I suppose, the rear wheel more so than the front wheel. We transition back here earlier than João, but we kind of follow him nicely through this clipping point 6 out towards the wall. He could be a bit deeper there. Into clipping point 7 here, he kind of cuts it a small bit, but we transition nicely behind him, and we kind of start to settle back onto his door nicely and across the line. Again, that was a better lead from João, but not as perfect, I think, as ours, or not as good as ours. Our chase run was definitely cleaner and probably more consistent than João's chase run, so that was probably the most important part of that run. But yeah, great battle with João. I think this replay is also going to be cut short as well from the results. But as you can see, we're just being kind of super safe, or not super safe, but just kind of being a little bit safe in the places that we need to be, and attacking in others that we know that we can take the risk in. And yeah, we getting the win for that one, which is obviously important for us. And moving on into the Great 8. So for our top 8 battle, we end up going against Alexander Sevryuk. Yeah, what a very interesting battle this turned out to be. We ended up battling Sevryuk at the last round of VDC last weekend, and we ended up getting the win over him. And I'll be honest, guys, this is the best I've ever seen Alexander drive. I've never seen him drive this consistently and perfect. As I said, he actually runs wide in this area. But look at this, he just leaves us for dead. Absolutely leaves us for dead. We have absolutely no answer. It's kind of pointless watching this replay, to be honest, because I don't really close up at all. And he just leaves us for dead for the remainder of the track. Probably the best driving I've ever seen Alexander do ever at an event. He's generally the type of driver that kind of isn't that settled, isn't that confident, it seems like, from the outside, and makes tiny or minor mistakes. But this event, he never made any. He had the speed up front. I suppose maybe he had that in his stride. He had that kind of confidence. And as you can see from the replay here, initiates in. He's not really that quick in initiation, it seems like. But from here, from clipping point 2 on, he's just got the speed over me, and I just cannot keep up. And I think this was a tradition for the remainder of the event. Alexander just won the battle from the lead position. There essentially was no battle. No one was really able to keep up. I think we did the best attempt of catching back up, but we had to sacrifice clipping points to gain that proximity. You know, we were shortening up the transition here, and we finally kind of get somewhat back on the door, but it was way too late. So look, heading into this lead position here again, you know, there's nothing really we could do. You know, like in the lead position, I feel like I'm the most vulnerable place. I feel like I can win the lead run, but you can't win the lead run when you do a bad chase run. So look, we just got to try our best, I suppose, in this situation and hope that Alexander makes a mistake. But you know, when he's got that so much of an advantage from the speed that he has, he doesn't even have to really try in the chase position. So again, it's kind of the same mentality: do a good lead run or pull away in the lead run, and then you don't even have to really try in the chase run. So that's kind of the beauty of going first. We kind of over-rotate. Alexander here kind of gives us a little nudge going again. I feel like actually with the mistake that Alexander made in his first lead run, that if we kind of got that first corner right, we might have actually had a chance of it one more time, because you could claim that he's running wide is the reason why I couldn't actually kind of get back onto his door. I wasn't expecting it. But look, I made a mistake in the lead position and kind of cancelled each other both out. But of course then he had the speed for the remainder of the run in the lead position, and also had the speed as well in the chase position as well. So look, we can watch back the replay here again, but other than that, guys, we were knocked out at this event. There's no point in not spoiling any more, but yeah, disappointing, I suppose. You're right. You know, there's 30 other people here in this event, and we all had the same speed, and then there's just one guy who's just way faster than us, and you just can't prepare for that. You know, you try and get as many runs in as many people as possible, and you know, we never got a run in with Alexander in practice, so we didn't really know what we were suffering in. By the way, this graphic that's popping up the screen is actually incorrect. It's it's a false one. Yeah, sorry, here's the accurate graphic of Alexander getting the win. They end up reposting again afterwards. So yeah, look, Alexander getting the win from that, moving on into the top 4. We end up getting knocked out in the grade 8. Not the result we wanted, but I have to give credit to Alexander. If you're watching this, Alex, great driving, man. It's the best I've ever seen you drive, so make sure you keep up and keep doing that. But yeah, that's kind of end of our event for this Drift Masters rounds. So guys, that's going to end it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Not the result that we were hoping for. We wanted to go all the way. We wanted to get this win. I think it just started off not so great for us this event. Not great, not qualifying where I wanted to be, getting a 60, qualifying 6th place overall, getting that 84-point run. Didn't really help my confidence, to be quite honest with you guys. I'm kind of the type of guy that if I don't hit a 90-point run, then I don't feel like that that I'm doing what the judges want, and then that kind of hurts my confidence a bit. So qualifying strong for me helps a lot mentally, and helps my confidence going into battles, knowing that what I'm doing is 100% what the judges want, and I can commit to that. So yeah, obviously not what I want to do, especially from qualifying and moving on into the battles. I think I was doing okay, and once it got to the top 8 battle there, I think we had absolutely no hope of beating Alexander there with the speed that he had. So yeah, that's kind of all she wrote, as we say here in Ireland. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you guys very soon. Cheers and goodbye.